It's time for some sweet freebies. Welcome back to Cocky Gachas, and in this video I'm going to talk to you guys about this brand new event that is for Christmas for Reverse 1999 that is upcoming, that has been announced by the devs. And over here you can see that this is basically just a login event. Of course, there's also something additional that I'm going to touch on later and going to go into deep discussions about. But first things first, we are going to have this winter special event, which is a login event for 10 days, of which you're going to get some clear drops, and most notably I think you would get a new wilderness set. So this does come into play whereby this event itself, right, also isn't a past event from China server. This is in fact a same time running event for both the CN server as well as for our server. So we do not have any knowledge on what kind of a wilderness set we are going to potentially get. Whether this wilderness set is going to be worth 80 bells, worth 100 bells, no one knows yet, but at least it is free. So just have to log in for 10 days. You're going to get this freebies, including some of the clear drops. But of course, usually with clear drops, the game doesn't give you that much. So even with this 10-day login event, you're only going to get 240 clear drops. And with that also comes some of the materials like the books, the stamina, as well as also having some of the enlightens that potentially you guys might be trying to upgrade a new side cube, so you might need these enlightens. Personally, I don't think enlightens are that big of an issue, since we are going to get even more enlightens when it comes to the upcoming U2 event that we are going to be anticipating in just 8 days. So this is just the login event. As long as you complete the main story one, you should be able to obtain all of this on a daily basis. So 10 days up until the January 6th. Now, of course, with the event, we're going to expect new winter special limited packs. I don't want to delve too much into it. You can already see the contents on the screen here. Personally, if you're asking me about the value proposition, this is $2.99, but if you look at the roaring month, right, it is not even 2 times of this, but it gives you 15 pulls, including 300 of those crystal drops that you can save for a skin. So if you're really only been buying the roaring month as well as maybe the battle pass, or not even the battle pass, I think this might be a skip. However, it also gives you a building, and the valuation of a building will really have to depend on yourself. From the perspective of increasing the bells, I would say that 100% just to spend for increasing of bells is not worth it. But for aesthetics wise, it's always subjective, so I cannot give you a proposition. But from a Unilocks, not worth it. Okay, next is going to be the New Year Pack 1 as well as the New Year's Pack 2. This one is of course more for the mini dolphins as well as for the whales. For the dolphins, right, if you are going for pools, definitely buy the cheaper one. But most notably, right, because the cheaper one only gives you a crystal cascade. Personally, I don't think crystal cascade is something that is very limited. On the other hand, if you look at the $37 pack, right, this gives you a lot of delicate inside cascades and the fine inside cascades. The materials will definitely help you in going for additional I3. If you are a dolphin, pretty much that is the thing that you are focused on. I don't think the cascade is going to help you as much, so I would suggest to go for this, although you do lose a bit of the value when it comes to the clear drops unilock ratio when it comes to the money spent, right? So that is something to consider, but I think this is pretty much worth it. This one I don't think it's that useful. It's just for the clear drops. The unilocks does not increase, so this is the least value one, but if you are well, pretty much just buy all of them. So going into the highlight this time around, it's going to be the winter special time limited summoning event. Similarly, there are very little details that are being provided to us about this banner, but I'm just going to summarize for you guys on what you guys can expect from this special banner. So this banner is going to drop on the 30th of December, i.e. in 10 days time, and very notably it clashes with the Changling banner that is upcoming in 8 to 9 days if I'm not wrong. So the gist of this banner is that instead of having a banner whereby you're going to get the 6-star unit, I think that they are going to go with something called a golden thread. So with this golden thread, you are going to get 1, 2, and 3 of these variations, and each one of those is a selector within the pool. So for golden thread 1, you are going to get Juvis, you're going to get Unli as well as Sotheby. For the second thread, you're going to get Centurion, Medicine Pocket, Miss New Babel, okay, our favorite, and of course Eternity. And then lastly, there's going to be the third thread, and that is going to be the A Knight, Lilia, Voyager as well as regular. So what this means is that instead of drawing for the 6-star unit, I presume they're going to make us have a chance to get one of these threads within the pools of drawing. And similarly, this should be using the clear drops, 180 drops if I'm not wrong. They didn't specify it here, and like I mentioned, this wasn't available in CN server, so right now it's honestly very speculative on what we are going to be expecting. But one thing notable is that this caps out at 40 draws. So you can see that they already mentioned it here. You can perform up to 40 summons in the banner. Once you have obtained the golden thread, the banner will be closed. So similar to the beginner banner, whereby once you obtain the grand prize, the 6-star unit, or in this case the golden thread, you are not able to pull it anymore. The banner will just instantly disappear. However, it highly depends on what you are lacking, because look at this 3 pools over here, right? If you do an analysis, the first pool has Unli, Sotheby, as well as Druvis. This is a selector, meaning that you just need to have one of the units within each pool that you need, and you should be good to draw this if you want to draw. Okay, that's basically it. So the first pool, I would suggest, of course, going for either Unli, or in this case Sotheby. If you're going for a Changling banner, you want Sotheby as a premier option for a team member, right? You can go with Sotheby. Druvis also isn't that bad, especially if you are skipping on Changling and you still want a plant type carry. I think Druvis is very good, but personally, if I were to draw on this banner, I would go for Unli, because I already have Sotheby, and I don't think I need Druvis, so I just go with Unli, which is a premier support, so definitely a good option. The second pool is where a bit of the problem lies, because this pool itself, right, they don't have the best units. Of course, you can say that, oh, Centurion is in the pool, Centurion is pretty good, but we all know that with the 1.4, 1.5, the events as well as the content definitely steer toward more of the single target DPS. So Centurion as a more of a RNG type of a DPSer, because you can't really decide whether she's going to deal AoE as well, or going to do single target, right? As opposed to Melania, which is very focused on single target. This is also not the best option if you are going to be forward looking, but within this pool itself, I would say Centurion as well as Medicine Pocket are good options. Medicine Pocket for people that are not going for Tooth Fairy is going to be great. However, at the same time, if you have 40 pools to spare for this winter special event, I would suggest that you go for Tooth Fairy instead. This is just my personal opinion. So I do believe that this freaking golden thread too is a bait. With this, right, because you cannot decide which one you are going to get, it is a random chance, you might potentially end up with golden thread 2, which is not the best, so you might waste your pools this way. And lastly, golden thread 3, I think, is one of the most valuable ones, because there is A Knight, and like I mentioned, A Knight is a premier carry option, and in fact it is my substitute for Changling. Since I'm skipping Changling, I do think that A Knight alone, with my i3 A Knight, I should be able to clear all of the content that I need Changling for. So definitely, I think A Knight is going to be the premier choice if you were to happen to get the golden thread 3. And also the Voyager and Regulars are also good options. Regulars and Voyager, Regulars being a very good sub DPS, main DPS kind of a thing, right? You really do want her, especially with the Sea Serpent raid that is upcoming. But more importantly, I think Voyager is also one of the really sought after ones. A lot of people want her just because of waifu, but of course within Sea Serpent itself, she's also going to help you a lot. And pairing that with the Tooth Fairy team and 37, you're going to have a very comprehensive team to tackle future Sea Serpent raid that I predict is going to rerun for 3 patches, so 1.4, 1.5, 1.6. It has already reran for 1.5, meaning it has been existing for 2 patches. I'm presuming it's going to be in 1.6 as well, since they only replace 1 raid at a time. So if you get Thread 3, it's going to be the best thing, but if you get Thread 2, not the best. Thread 1, I think, is still okay. So there's a bit of RNG factor here, but the main focus here is not whether this is worth it, because a lot of times we have to think about the other options, and like I mentioned, this clashes with the upcoming Changling banner. So if you were to go straight into the game, right, you can pretty much see if you have went for Tooth Fairy and you are free to play, you will have even less drops than me, unless you got super lucky or you skipped earlier banners like Melania, you didn't draw. You would have enough draws to go for Changling and the additional winter pool. But otherwise, right, if you just take a look at this itself, I have 17k. Taking me as an example, I have 17k clear drops, and also I have 7 of these draws, right? Imagine I'm going for Changling now. This amount of draws will only translate to 101 pools. By the time Changling come, maybe I can get 105 pools potentially, right? So that is the best case scenario. 105 pools, I don't even guarantee Changling. So if you are going for Changling and you are thinking to spare the 40 pools for the winter banner, I would suggest you not to do so. And also on top of it, right, we are unaware of what the 5 stars are going to be rated up. Are they going to be rated up on 5 stars? From the looks of it, I don't think so. So no rate up for 5 star, meaning that you can't really target some of the better 5 stars, right? Especially you can see in Tooth Fairy banner, there is our Beacon, and also in the upcoming Changling banner, there is also Necrologist, which is also pretty decent for upcoming raid if you do not have Pickle. So a lot of this potential things clashes with what we have in mind from a saving plan. So I really suggest, right, if you are tempted to go for the 40 pools because you think that from all 3 pools, maybe you want Centurion, you want An, or you want Sotheby, as well as you want A-Knight. So something like this, if you have something that you want from every single pool, I do think that it is worth it, provided you get your Changling fast. So since the banner comes in 10 days while Changling comes in 8 days, I think that you can try your luck with Changling first, see how many pools you end up having, and then you can decide whether to go for the winter pool. Personally though, I will say that after Changling, right, there is still very notable stuff in Shaman banner and also in Black Dwarf banner. So there are a lot of units that are potentially very important, especially also if you are saving for 37 as well as 6. So the next 2 patches after 1.2 are also very important banners, and having 7.2k 40 pools being removed from your account itself, right? On the worst case scenario, of course, if you're super lucky, you can get it in one draw, then it's a different question. But 40 pools, is it worth it? Personally, I don't think it is worth it. If you're a spender though, I think 100% just grab it because it is a free guaranteed portrait on one of the units that you want within the 3 pools. So definitely worth it for people that are a bit more on the wheelie side, semi-wheel, or you're mini dolphin, you can probably go for it. But for free-to-play players, I would strongly suggest you guys to hold your horses, see what your luck brings in Changling banner, and potentially even then, if you get super lucky, if you're planning for future units, I would suggest not to go for this upcoming event. And that is pretty much all there is coming for the winter event. Personally, if you ask me if I'm hyped for this event, not really. Once again, there is nothing much to do. There is no new event story as well, which I was kind of expecting, right? Don't know if that was a good thing or a bad thing. Regardless, we are not expecting that. We just have the login bonus and also the banner that I personally don't think it is the most worth it thing to go for, right? Especially for people that are saving for Changling. And also, if you're a free-to-play player watching this, you're thinking, hey Cocky, the free event stuff is good. The packs has nothing to do with me. The banner also has nothing to do with it. There's something to have to do with you is going to be clearing Limbo if you are not well invested in your unit. So definitely check out this video where I cleared 6-2 with minimum requirements and minimum investments with some restrictions. I'll see you guys over there. This is Cocky Gachas, signing off.